Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 7th, and today I listened to When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. Right off the bat, I just want to say it was nice to have something different. After 5 quote-unquote rock albums from the 70s in a row, I was ready for a change. When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, which I'll just be abbreviating as Where Do We Go, is branded as a Billie Eilish album, but I think it's more accurate to say it's a collaboration between Billie Eilish and her brother Finneas. They released this album in early 2019 and it did so well. It did very well commercially, had several hit singles, and won so many Grammys that during the night of the Grammys, even Billie Eilish was sick of it. In the past, Billie has talked a lot about things like dreams, depression, anxiety, and she's also discussed having sleep paralysis, and apparently, the first time she ever had sleep paralysis, she didn't even know what that was, so she just kind of thought she was dying. Now, on to the album. My first impression about it, I actually thought that the whole thing was going to be more explicitly about things like dreams and anxiety, but maybe I'm just looking at it on the surface level, but it really seems to be mostly an album about a toxic relationship. You can kind of see the arc of the relationship too throughout the album. The first few songs are about these two edgy kids getting together, and then the relationship starts souring until at the very end when they break up. There's only one song that really seems to go against this storyline, and that's Bury a Friend. It sort of just comes out of nowhere. In fact, I would say that Bury a Friend is the odd one out in a lot of ways. Most of the other songs, even the darker ones, they're dark in a sort of tongue-in-cheek kind of way. Songs like Bad Guy or You Should See Me in a Crown, they're very theatrical. They very much feel like she's sort of putting on a front. Bury a Friend is a horror song, and I mean, it's not bad at doing that, but for me, it just kind of felt out of place. As for my favorite song from this album, in 2019 I called When the Party's Over the best hit song of the entire year, and it is my favorite song from this album. Though I will say, I Love You comes in a close second. Both of those songs are very indicative of the sort of artistic choices and stylistic ideas in Where Do We Go. All of these songs I would describe as more on the minimalist side, and in all of them she's singing softly. Eilish is generally a very subdued singer, so any of the big emotions have to be conveyed with the songwriting and the production, and they accomplished a lot in that regard. Throughout the whole album, there's a lot of interesting production choices. Like, they'll use specific sound effects over and over, and You Should See Me in a Crown, there is the sound of, I'm pretty sure, a knife being sharpened, and there are interesting types of synth and vocal effects used throughout the whole thing. Not every single choice lands. In fact, if there were any one song from this album that I didn't like, it would be Zanny. In that song, they basically just used distortion as an instrument, and I wasn't all about it. But the missteps are a lot rarer than the ones that work and work well. I do believe that When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go holds up, and so far, it's my favorite album I'm listening to this month. It's not for everybody, absolutely not for everybody, but I enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow.